Good evening and welcome to the to a special meeting of the Milton Select Board. It is Monday, May 18th. Before we begin, please join us as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that. This is a special meeting really for the purpose of final approval of the warrant, so it can go to print tomorrow. But item 3, we do have public comment, and we may have public comment participants here. So just let me go through quickly the procedure for public comment that we've been using since March when we began these remote meetings, and that is as follows. All the microphones of the non-board members and Mr. Dennehy are muted now. I will ask our executive secretary, Hillary Wade, to unmute all the microphones. At that time, anyone wishing to participate in public comment should give their name, and if they are participating by phone. Oh, I see we have one who wants to participate during public speak who sent a chat message, so that's good. But I am going to open it up just in case there is anyone who's participating by phone. If you want to participate, or by computer, just state your name during when we open up the microphones. And if you're participating by phone, please give the last 4 digits of your telephone number so we can identify you. Then we will mute all the lines again and unmute people down the line so they can make their public comment statements. So, Hillary, could you unmute all the lines?
Great.
And I think all the lines have been unmuted. Is that right, Hillary?
That's correct.
All right. So, and I have Cindy Christensen who wants to participate. She sent a chat message, so she'll be first. Is there anyone else who wishes to participate in public comment? Please state your name, and if you're calling in, please give the last 4 digits of your phone number.
Suzanne Knight, 1036.
1036, Suzanne Knight. Okay. All right. All right, anyone else who wishes to participate in public comment, please give your name, and if you're participating by phone, the last 4 digits of your phone number. Okay, hearing none. Hillary, I'll ask you first to mute all the lines again, except for the board members and Mr. Dennehy, and unmute first Cindy Christensen's line.
We are ready.
All right, Cindy, you can go ahead.
Okay, Cindy Christensen. I live at 59 Collimore Street. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, you're coming through fine.
Okay. I've written a set of documents to help individuals, communities, legislators, and attorneys understand specific flaws of the FAA's DNL metric. One set of documents is for the multiplier topic, and by that I mean what multiple of current or historic aviation noise events is needed to reach significance as defined by the FAA. No one I know understands numbers in terms of the decibel scale, so the multiplier allows people to interpret and understand DNL significance in terms of what noise those on the ground already experience and are familiar with, and what multiple of that they would need to endure in order to have significant noise. Other communities across the country are already using my multiplier calculations. It's quite simple to use. This evening, I'm asking that the town does the same and prepares prior to the FAA's 4L environmental assessment to calculate the multiplier for each census block in Milton. I'll be sharing the simple calculations and the documents that will help you do that later this evening, and I'll also be sending it to the Airplane Noise Advisory Committee and the Milton CAC rep. Here's a couple of examples using DNL estimates of 2015. I'm using 2015 because it's a good comparison year, because the 4L RNAV path was not implemented at that time and had not been used. Select Woman Collins, your home would require almost 19 times what it had in 2015 to reach FAA's definition of significance. Selectwoman Conlon, you would need an exposure that is 91 times that of 2015 to have significant noise from aviation. The multiplier numbers are shocking, but they are correct. The Logan permanent noise monitor on Fuller's Lane in Milton recorded a DNL of 49.4 in 2016. To beat significant noise, that monitor would have needed to pick up 36 times the number of aviation noise events that it picked up in 2016. Following this first set of documents that explain the multiplier, I will be releasing sets on 7 or 8 other topics that expose the flaws in the DNL metric. An aviation attorney that's been communicating with me has suggested a framework for using the information about DNL flaws that I've written now to assess aviation noise burden. There also are other avenues that we can use to criticize DNL, including work with the congressional members, but that's further down the road. So for now, I'm recommending that the town, in preparation for what we know will be a finding of no significant impact for the environmental assessment of the 4L RNAV, to obtain current and historic DNL estimates for all of Milton. The next step is to calculate the multipliers, which can be done with simple mathematics, as the documents that I'll be sharing with you will show. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Hillary, if you could mute now all the lines except for the board members, Mr. Dennehy and Suzanne Knight.
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, Suzanne, Suzanne, you can go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, thanks. I'm Suzanne Knight. I live at 25 Spafford Road. In the fall of 2018, I assisted with the implementation of a noise study that measured noise at various locations in Milton with a Boston University School of Public Health graduate school class. At the time, I reported to your board about its findings. That classroom work evolved into a larger noise study with the same students and Dr. Erica Walker. I was disappointed to learn recently last summer, Dr. Walker received an anonymous phone call and letter after that containing warnings not to work with Dr. Cindy Christensen of Milton, and who also is faculty at BU. The warnings were slanderous and defamatory. The harassment was described by Erica as coming from a resident of the community. Its purpose was to harm the efforts by Boston Fair Skies and Cindy's reputation among her professional colleagues. And it occurred around the time a Milton resident had filed criminal charges against her. The criminal charges were not filed by Milton police and were found by the court to have no probable cause. Cindy prevailed in court. I'm happy and proud that Milton has adopted the important beliefs and practices of all towns that have become known as no place for hate towns, where there is no place for hate. And my family and friends are proud to carry forth that special designation in all our public and private communications and efforts, and to teach our children and grandchildren to speak up when they see others harmed by anonymous letters and phone calls. In the case of Boston Fair Skies and Dr. Christensen, it took the form of hateful messages aimed at an older female who has exemplary credentials and is a perfect example of what helping community efforts involves. My family is extremely grateful for not only her intellectual talents, but also for her commitment to finding resolutions to this major challenge we face here in Milton. Cindy presently serves on a national committee aimed at producing legislation to find the answers to allow our residents to use their backyards again. We are proud to have a hometown representative on such an elite national committee. Our group, BOS, Fair Skies, and many others will help you in any way we can to stop the ongoing damage to our health. Thank you, Dr. Christensen. Finally, I want to propose in an effort to end the kind of hate-filled reactionary behavior aimed at one of your best previous appointees and at the dedicated work by those working with the Boston Fair Skies grassroots, and to further encourage talented volunteers for town roles in the future, as well as assure academic institutions of higher education collaborating with volunteers that the board considers signing this day a public proclamation to make every effort to protect town volunteers who become targets of similar hate-filled behavior in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Hillary, if you could mute all the lines. Item 4 rather, is COVID-19 update. Mr. Dennehy, do we have, are we going to have an update on that? We do have a couple of members who have to leave at 5:45, so we may want to move as quickly as possible. Caroline, I see Caroline. Caroline, do you have an update for us on COVID-19? I see her name, but I don't. Caroline, are you there?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you. And
Uh,
go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can give as long as an update you want now, or and we'll also be having a meeting on Wednesday night as well, so you can
It's going to be
supplement.
short.
Okay,
Yep.
great, thank you.
It's going to be short. So thank you, Chair Zulus and Select Board members. Today, Milton has a total of 280 residents who have tested positive for COVID-19 to date, and the positive cases are still trickling in to my workflow. We're also seeing more people testing to find out if they were exposed to the virus in the past and have developed antibodies. So some people are saying to themselves, I wonder if when I was sick last month or the month before that I might have gotten COVID and I didn't know it, or they just are going on their own for testing. And let me tell you what's going to happen with that, what we're seeing in our workflows. So if you test positive for the antibodies, what we're doing is we're seeing those tests come in and we're reaching out to you to find out if you have any symptoms, but also what that is indicating if you do test positive for those antibodies, that we're also asking you to isolate for 10 days. So this is something new, a new guideline that came across our desk last week. So if you do test for those antibodies and you're like wondering, was I sick like last month and it was COVID? If it's positive, you are going to be asked to isolate for 10 days unless you perform a second test, and that's the nasal swab. So if you perform that nasal swab and it's negative, then you do not have to isolate for 10 days. But that's the second test that is recommended highly to do that second test in tandem with the antibody test. And if you are positive with the nasal swab test, PCR, then you'll be asked again to isolate for the 10 days. So I'm continuing to update the confirmed positive numbers daily and posting it on the Town of Milton website. Alan Bishop, our GIS coordinator, has volunteered to assist the health department quantify the data, and hopefully we'll get that up this week on our website. What we're finding out is most of the residents who have tested positive have recovered. Some residents have mild to moderate symptoms, which can linger, a cough can linger, for even a couple of weeks is what we're seeing. Some of our residents have been hospitalized and discharged, and some residents have succumbed to the virus. The Community Tracing Collaborative is reaching out now to COVID-19 positive residents. So if you do see MA COVID team come up on your phone, or those area code of 833 or 857, please answer the phone and talk to the person on the other line. They're trying to get information about your symptoms and who you've been in close contact with. So the high priority cases are continuing to stay in the local boards of health, and we are still following up on clusters, complex cases. And the Milton Public and private school nurses are still continuing to assist us with case management. Now they're helping us with case management of probable cases. So the CTC is following up with positive cases, and we at the health department are following up with probable cases, and the public and private school nurses are following up with probable cases. And that's the probable cases are those with positive antibodies, and they test IgG positive. So we had about 15 of those cases last week, and we're continuing to follow up on those cases. And then after listening to Governor Baker's message today, I know we were previously at a stay-at-home order, and now it is changed to safer at home advisory. And it would be best for people who are over 65 or older and who have underlying health conditions to use more caution when they're planning to go out of their homes, continuing to wear face covering, social distancing, hand washing. Those are the tools to keep people safer. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. And if you're available, we may ask you to come in on Wednesday night to talk in further detail about the governor's order and what effect that has on Milton. Any comments or questions from the members? I do want to get to the warrant as quickly as possible because I have a couple of members who have time limitations. All right, thank you very much, Caroline. Again,
Thank you.
we'll be here on Wednesday, and maybe we can have a discussion about the reopening. Item 5 is discussion approval with the moderator regarding moderator request for virtual town meeting. Mike Dennehy, should we go right to the approval of the town meeting warrant?
Yes, we can. We did have a review of the warrant this morning collectively. Chair Asher, myself, Amy Dexter, Lynn Hoy. We accomplished a lot. I want to thank Member Conlon for her comments and edits. They were very well received. And yeah, and town council was on the call as well. So yeah, we could go to the next agenda item, and town council can elaborate on why we need this meeting tonight. And it's going to print tomorrow. So.
And for the members, I know this was last minute, but we town council wanted to make sure that we had an opportunity to finally approve the warrant in its final form. So, Kevin, we are losing members in about 7 or 8 minutes. So if you could just give us the quick highlights of the revisions to the warrant, and then hopefully we can get a vote on those.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Freitag got disconnected from the meeting. He's reconnecting now.
Okay.
Okay, we were going to have the town moderator on as well, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
To discuss the virtual remote, but he has a business conference call, so he couldn't make it. But basically, I know this board had talked about what the cover should look like. Kevin could talk to that, and then any of the articles that were, it was very grammatical type stuff, but yeah.
All right, Kevin.
Mr. Chair, while we're waiting for Kevin to connect, I had a paper copy dropped off in my house a little while ago, but I don't know if it's the most recent version because it still says just virtual town meeting on the first page, and it doesn't have the change that I saw from Kevin in an email earlier today. So I don't know if I have the final version or not, but.
All right. So,
Yeah. Sorry, may I, Mr. Chair?
yeah, please, yeah.
Member Conlon, you do. That yellow highlight, if you translate it to a PDF writer, it shows the edits. The printer accepts changes in handwritten only, so Lynn Hoy was working on that, but it doesn't transcribe on the hard copy.
Okay, what I'm looking at is just a paper copy, so I don't have the yellow highlighting, but
Yeah.
okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Melinda, do you have something? Kevin's on now. Do you have something, Melinda, before we go to Kevin?
Oh, no, I was just looking, oops, am I on? I was just looking at it and I realized that there was a yellow sort of button that you could press and it says Milton High School, Guile Road, and subject to the passage. So that looks like the change that was being contemplated.
Okay. Kevin Freitag, are you on the line?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right, so Kevin, I'm going to lose a member or two in about 6 minutes. So if you could give us the quick highlights of the warrant as it stands now that we need to vote on, that would be great.
Well, Mr. Chair, I can make it very simple. Nothing has changed since the last time you voted on it, except for the fact that the warrant committee met last weekend and tightened up their recommendation on 2 different articles, actually 3 different articles, one being the electronic delivery of warrants. And also since that time, Bob Hiss and I had a chance to speak with Mike Dennehy today and square away the language on the warrant that will identify the location, the physical location for town meeting as is currently required under Mass General Laws, Chapter 39, Section 10. But then also in a parenthetical will state that subject to the passage of pending legislation, the town of Milton will conduct this meeting as a virtual meeting, details of which will be announced at a later date. So that parenthetical and language appears in 3 different places throughout the warrant. And in doing so, we satisfied the current statutory requirement that we identify a place for town meeting in the warrant, but we also wanted to signal to the residents of Milton that the town is actively pursuing a virtual town meeting.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Kevin. Comments or questions from the members?
I have a question.
Ms.
Kevin,
Conlon.
I'm just looking at a paper copy. So does the back cover where we took off the references to Milton High School Auditorium, has that been corrected then to add that back?
Yes, there are 3 places in the warrant where it said virtual town meeting. It's on the cover. There's a section, well, Bob Hiss's letter identifies the topic as well. It's also on the very back of the warrant. And then there's one other place in the warrant where it talks about if the meeting is continued, that it will take place the following Monday as well. And that's, it's also identified there. So there's 3 separate places in the warrant now where it suggests that there will be a physical place, but that pending legislation, it's going to be held virtually.
Okay, it looks like Hillary is maybe the one showing us the screen that has the, Hillary, what about page 5? Did we correct it there as well? That might be the 3rd place Kevin's talking about.
That's it.
That is
Okay.
the third one, yes.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Other comments or questions from the?
That's it.
Richard, are
Okay,
you
thank you.
okay? Richard, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, Mr. Chair.
Great,
You
great.
want a motion to approve?
Absolutely.
I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion to approve the warrant for the 2020. This would be our annual town meeting, or are we calling this a special town meeting? Annual town
Annual.
meeting, subject to all edits, all final edits is appearing here.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. It's a roll call. Any further discussion? It's a roll call vote. Ms. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Conlon,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes.
Mr. Zulish, yes. Anything further on this?
And thank you to everyone and Katie for your edits, and thank you,
Yep.
Kevin.
Absolutely. And
Thank you.
we're actually coming in under our 5:45 time just for a couple of the members, so that's good. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move that
I'll
we
make a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Roll call vote. Ms. Collins,
Yes.
Ms. Conlon,
Yes.
Mr. Wells,
Yes, I'm doing this from now on. Time limits.
Mr. Zulish, yes. We will be back again on Thursday at
When?
7. Wednesday. I'm sorry, Wednesday at 7. Wednesday at 7
Okay.
with our normal meeting. So thank you
Okay.
all for coming on at the last minute to approve this. And now the warrant will go off to the printer tomorrow, and we'll be ready for hopefully our virtual town meeting on June 15th. So thank you all.
Thank you too, Hillary.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank
Hillary.
you.
Thank you
Mike.
all. Thanks.
Thank you.